What is going on, guys? Back with another tier list. This time it's going to be an updated gaming crypto tier list. I did one of these around 6 months ago, and since then, guys, obviously a lot of things have changed. And the thing with crypto, guys, you have to understand you have to be prepared to, change ship very fast if you lose conviction in certain altcoins. The main issue with gaming and the reason it's not pumping due to a few reasons. Obviously, it's not the gaming rally yet. On top of that, there's a lot of saturation within gaming. So many projects, and all of these projects have to fight for that market share. Compared to 2021, there was probably less than 10% of the current gaming altcoins. I've got around under 50 coins on this list, and of course, maybe some of your favorites are missing. These are some of the ones which I think have the most hype surrounding them. I've got some high caps, I've got mid caps, low caps, and some degen micro caps. And as always, I'm going to list them from avoid to potential 100x or zero. As you can see with the top tier here, which is the degen list, where I'm going to be putting a lot of microcaps just due to the fact that a lot of these coins could go to zero. But anyway, let's get into it. The first coin on the list is one of the OGs, one of the older projects, Axie Infinity, which did amazing in 2021, peaking around 10 billion market cap. It's currently around 900 million, and it does have a huge player base, but I just think more people are going to want to rotate into fresh altcoins. And, is it going to go back to its all time high? Potentially, but I'm going to put it in the 5x category because I just think, there's better projects. Something like Heroes of Mavia, which we'll get onto later, is, something which I think can surpass something like Axie Infinity. So I would put it as a 5x. I'm not going to put it as a void because it has a huge player base and, it's not going to go to zero. But I just don't think it's the best coins to be getting at this stage. Next on the list, we have another high cap, but a fresher one which is getting a lot of hype. A lot of projects are building on this. Beam. I really like Beam. I think at around 1 billion in market cap, I think this has the potential to go to a 10x. It has featured in some of my gaming portfolio. If you're looking for a low risk, solid gaming project, I think Beam is a top choice. And you're still probably early to this because we haven't seen the gaming run just yet. As soon as we get some news around, something like GTA, around, the Solana phone, the Sui Play, and there's a lot of other catalysts we could see going into 2025. I think this is a good position to be picking up some of these game altcoins. And next on the list, we have Gala, another older project, and a lot of people lost conviction in this. It has been pumping recently, but I just think you should be getting into fresher projects. It had a lot of potential, but the team had some sort of issues within. I just don't think it's worth it at this stage, guys. It'll probably still pump, but there's better options out there in the space. The next on the list is IMX, Immutable X, another very solid project, probably one of the safest sort of high caps within the gaming narrative. And I think, again, guys, it's sat at around 2 billion in market cap. I think this could give you a 5 to 10x. I'm going to put it as a 10x because I think with Beam, I think Beam and IMX are two very solid projects. I think when the gaming run comes, these are going to be two of the main movers. So I still think it has a 10x in its capabilities. Next on the list is Illuvium. Now, this was a project which people, really liked with the AAA standard. Graphics look insane on Illuvium. It is a 300 million market cap though, guys, and price action has not been too good. A lot of people were expecting this to go back to its all-time high of nearly $2,000, but they don't understand how, the token sort of dilution works. So for me, guys, I think this is probably a 5x from here. I think It's got good quality in terms of its game, but people are just going to be getting into fresher projects. We've got the first sort of micro cap on the list, OTK, Solana-based gaming coin. And to be honest, guys, majority of these projects I don't even play. But OTK is a game that I've downloaded. I play their games. They've got a good list of games where you can compete in different leaderboards, different tournaments. You can earn, gold, and you can also earn the OTK token. You can buy different gifts, and it's down pretty big. It's down around 30% over the month. It's currently 7.5 million in market cap, and I honestly believe this can potentially do, I would like to say 50x. But you have to realize, guys, that you have to be a bit more conservative. But I will put it as a 50x, but you should be out of it well before that 50x, in my opinion. And next on the list, we have Ronin Network. Now, this is another older project. It's a project which a lot of the big influencers talk about, but the price action just has not been too good. But I still think this has potential in it. It's around 500 million in market cap. I'm gonna put it as a 5x, because again, there's just so much competition within this high cap space for gaming altcoins. It could potentially do 10x, but I'm gonna put it as a 5x towards the top. Next on the list, we have another degen project which I covered in the past, Fabwelt. Since then, the team have they did move on to our games, which has just been a complete flop. It's just the idea of why tokenomics is so important, and why having a good token release schedule is important. Otherwise, the token just dies and the price just continues to fall. It looks since then that they've looked to develop Fabwelt with new games. I think it's around 600k market cap. It's one of those projects, guys, either going to 100x or it's going to go to zero. So whatever you put into this project, you should be prepared to lose. It's a degen project, and you shouldn't allocate more than 0.1%. In my opinion, there's better projects, but if you want to gamble within gaming, it could be a good shout. Small in market cap, very low in liquidity, and it doesn't take a lot to pump that project. Next on the list, we have Prime, another project which is sort of shielded by a lot of influencers such as Alex Becker. It's a decent project, but the main issue is, guys, that you're relying on a lot of influencers to talk about this, and I just think you should diversify. But it probably still will perform well. It's currently around 400 million in market cap. I'm going to put it again as 5x, just because I just think there's better coins you can get into, guys, better projects where you can put your money into. And remember, guys, gaming is probably the most competitive space. So, you do need to pick projects which have, big upside and which haven't pumped. And at 400 million, guys, I just don't think there's much space. I don't see this going to 4 billion. So I'll put it as a 5x. Next on the list, we have Zai Games. I actually quite like this project. It's a fresh project. It's built on Arbitrum, I believe. And I just think this is a decent project. They have very good games on the website. They have a pretty good community as well. And honestly, I think this has potential to do a 10x from here. It's around, I think it's around 200 million in market cap. So for me, I could see this going to 2 billion. Decent project. Next on the list, we have Sandbox, another old project, another one of those projects that did very well in the previous bull run, around, I think, 7 billion at the tops. But guys, I just think, the sort of interest has gone onto other projects. I would personally avoid this. I don't think it's worth putting your money into. Next on the list, we have AVAX-based degen gaming microcap, Metados. Now, this project is, part of I think AVAX gave a grant to this project. They've also got grants from some other big companies. I think dilution is around 3x from here. It's around 800k in market cap and it is around 20% in circulation. So this is a project which could move pretty hard. It is also a fresh project. I think it's less than 1 year old. And it's another one of those degen projects, guys. It either is going to do something like a 50 or 100x, or it's going to go to zero. I wouldn't put it in the 50x because something like OTK is more safer. Got a very good project in terms of, OTK and the app that they have, big player base. And I think MetaDOS it could do well, but it's very, very high risk. And, whatever you put into the project, you should be prepared to lose. But it could do well when the gaming run comes. The next on the list, we have Superverse, another one of those influencer sort of pushed coins. The difference with this, guys, it does have a huge community and, it has been performing pretty well. It's up around 20x, I believe, over the past year. And, this just has a lot of hype around it. And it is around 500 million in market cap. And I think it's a decent pick. I think, personally, guys, I'd prefer to go for something like Beam, Zio IMX, but I do still think Superverse could potentially 10x. But I would put it on the lower end. I think 5 to 10x is more likely, in my opinion. Next on the list, we have ALTCOIN, another old project, ancient project. I think this is like from 2017. I just don't think it's worth it, guys. There's better, fresher projects you can get into. Next on the list, we have Magic, another project which it's a bit of an older project. I think it's around from 2021. Currently sat around 100 million in market cap. But the thing with this, guys, I think, the game and sort of the community they have reminds me of something like Axie, but a bit more high risk. And I don't know, guys. I think with this, because it's 100 million in market cap, 10x on this is around 1 billion. Can it go to 2 billion? Probably not. I'm going to put this as a 10x, but I think there's better projects. I'll put it towards the lower end. But they do have a pretty big community, and yeah, I think it's a decent project. Next on the list, we have Engines of Fury, another degen project. My main issue with this, guys, is the dilution. I think it's around 8% in circulation, and the vesting schedule is not very good. I believe it's around 5 or 6x until sort of Q3 2025. I'm not going to put it as a void, but I can't put this as like a 50x because I just think dilution is going to sort of, really push down the potential for gains. But I think it could still potentially do like a 20x from here, 10 or 20x. I'll put it as a 20x, guys, but this is a project you should DC into because if you lump sum buy, you're going to be wiped out on when the tokens get released and, people sell the token. But it does look good. It's a shooter-based game, and it does look like a good game. It's just the vesting schedule is bad, and it would have been good if the team had made a good vesting schedule, but it is what it is. Next on the list, we have Pixel, another newer based project, around 130 million in market cap. I believe it's on the Ronin network as well and on Ethereum. And to be honest, guys, this is a decent project. I think, it reminds you of something like Minecraft. And I just think it can get a big player base from here. I'm going to put it as a 10x. I think it's a decent project. I'll put it in the middle because, it just reminds me of Minecraft for some reason. And just how many users, something like Minecraft can get on board. So I'd put it as a 10x. Next on the list, we have Crown. This is, one of those, I think it's one of those horse racing based projects, I believe. And it's just, there was sort of D-Race, which is obviously rebranded as ZK Race. Crown is probably the biggest, well, it is the biggest horse racing based game. But the main question is how big is horse racing? I think it does have a big player base. It's around 80 million in market cap, and it is on Solana also. So that is a bullish thing for this project. I can see this doing potentially a 10 to 20x. 20x would be around 1.5 billion in market cap. I'm going to put it on the higher end of the 10x category just because it's a bit niche and not many people like horse racing, but it's a decent pick. I think there's other projects on this list, such as Munity, which is a microcap within horse racing, virtual horse racing. I think it just has more upside. So 10x, I'd put that as. Next on the list, we have Carrot. Now, this is a project which has very good marketing, and I think it will do really well. The only downside with this is the sort of tokenomics, the vesting schedule. I don't know exactly what the sort of vesting is going to look like until 2025. I think it's around 3x, around a 3x. It's currently around 70 million in market cap. The main thing, guys, this has a huge amount of influencers who are pushing it. And even if you don't like the game, you have to admit that marketing is important. I can see this potentially doing a 20x. I'll put it as a 10 to 20x. I think it's a decent project. And next on the list, we have Revolve Games, guys. This was a project I had very high hopes for. Unfortunately, they have just, it's just gone nowhere. The website is down and you can't access the website. And unfortunately, for that reason, it's, in my opinion, it's dead. Big shame because it had a huge amount of potential. But again, guys, this is what I'm talking about. You have to be prepared to lose your gains in these microcaps from here. And next on the list, we have Altura, which has been performing pretty well over the past month or so. It's up around 2x. And originally, this was something I could see doing the 20x, but it is currently pumped up like 2 to 3x. This could probably do a 10x from here, guys. It could do a 20x. 20x is around, I think, over 1 billion. I'm going to put it as a 10x. I just think it has pumped up a lot. It is an older project as well, and but it is a good project. Very important for sort of gaming infrastructure, NFTs, and it will have its day gain, and it will probably surpass its all-time high, in my opinion. And next on the list, we have Vulcan Forged, and older project and pushed by a lot of influencers. In my opinion, it's not worth it, guys. It's also pretty, I think it's around 60, 70 million market cap. I just think there's better projects. Now, Nakamoto Games, this is a project which is old, but they have been developing throughout the bear market. I did make a good trade on this earlier on, and I'm still holding this, and I still think it could potentially give you a 20x from here. Even though it is up massively over the past couple of years, I still think this can give you a 20x. Very good project, huge amount of games. They have their Nakaverse, they have NFTs, they have a huge ecosystem, huge player base. It's going to perform very well, in my opinion. Next on the list, we have Myria, which has been flooded, and a lot of people have spread fear on this. They do need to release more games, but they have a very credible team behind them. They have a huge use case, layer 2 scaling solution on Ethereum. In my opinion, guys, this is on a huge discount at around 50 million in market cap. For me, this is another project which I could see doing a 20 to 30x. Still from here, I think could potentially hit 2 billion market cap. I still think it's very worth it, in my opinion. Next on the list, we have Star Atlas. Now, this is another older project, which is down heavily. I think it's down like 99%. The main sort of saving grace with this is the fact it's on Solana, and Solana is performing really well. I can probably see this doing like a 10x from here, but there's better projects to invest into. And next on the list, we have Creo, another very bullish low cap. This has performed very well over the past year, and it's just continuing to develop. They have very good partnerships. They have a very bullish community who push this project consistently. From here, I can still see this doing potentially a 20x. I'm going to put it in the 20x category. A very good project, in my opinion. Next on the list, we have Portal, another newer project, which is shielded by a lot of influencers. It is down around 90%, and the price action hasn't been, too good. but I can still see it doing well. The graphics are decent on this, and it does have, a good sort of community who push the project. But, the price action isn't the best. I'll probably see this doing like a 10x from here, but there's better projects you can invest into. Another project which has been just like Miria, this was a project people loved earlier in the year. And the main issue is people want to see more games developed. They say the team's been lazy and the price action's been pretty poor. But since the past year, we've seen, tokens be released into the market. It's now almost 50% in circulation and it's around 40 million in market cap. Honestly, guys, the team here have got ties to Electronic Arts and other big companies like Activision. I can still see this doing a 20 to 30x. I think Miria and GFile are good projects with huge upside from here. And if you don't want to be getting into projects which are like $500 million, these are good projects which could do 20 to 30x in my opinion. Very good projects. Next on the list we have Xverse, another degen microcap. I think this is around 1 million in market cap, and they do sort of claim to tie AI into the game. I do actually like this, and I think that narrative of gaming and AI can do well, even if they don't really utilize AI. It's one of those projects which is going to go into the degen sector up here. Either it's going to do 100x or it's going to go to zero, but this could be a good trade when the gaming run comes and you're still early to the gaming run. Next on the list, we have ALTCOIN. Now, to be honest, guys, I'm not a fan of this. It's an older project, and yeah, for me, guys, personally, I would put this in the avoid list. It'll probably do like a 5 to 10x. I'll put it in the 5x, guys, just because everything will probably pump, but I think there's much better projects in the gaming space. Next on the list, we have Mavia, Heroes of Mavia, a project which people compare to something like Axie Infinity, and it has a huge player base, guys. So many people are playing this across the world. It reminds me of Axie Infinity in the early stages. And the main thing with this, guys, it is at a low market cap, around $40 million in market cap. The main things to look out with this, guys, is the token release, which is in February. I think they're going to release around 30% of the current market cap. So there probably will be a dump, and that's why it's important to DCA. Even with the token unlocks, I still see this doing a 20 to 30x from here. It can easily get past the 1 to 2 billion market cap range, in my opinion. It could even go higher, and they also have, ties to Binance, and I believe eventually they could potentially get listed on Binance. A very good project, huge player base, and I think it will do well. Seedify Launchpad for games. I think over the next year or so, we're going to see a lot more games being released, and Seedify is going to be probably the best launchpad for those releases. In terms of where it can go from here, it is at around, I think, the market cap is around 90 or 100 million. It could probably still 10 to 20x from here. I'm going to put it in the 10x category because it's an older project and there is a lot more launch pads within the space. But again, it's a good project in my opinion and it will do well. So 10x for Seedify. Next on the list, we have Sidus, another project which is old. It is down like 98, 99%. The main thing with this, guys, it is covered by a lot of influencers, and I still think this could do well. But I would probably pick other projects, but because it's so low in market cap, this could probably still do like a 10x, maybe a 20x. I'll put it as a 10x, but it could do 20x in my opinion. Next on the list, we have another degen project, Synverse. Now, in my opinion, guys, the main reason I'm bullish on this is how similar, well, not really similar because nothing's similar to GTA, but it's that sort of vibe, that GTA style game, that mafia game where you can buy land, you can have your own crew. And the main thing, this is an older project, but they've been developing throughout the bear market. I don't think this is as risky as, something like these top three here. I can see this still doing a 50x, guys. 50x would still be under 100 million. It is very high risk though, so put a very small allocation of your portfolio into it. And next on the list we have Wagmi Games, another project which, to be fair, has performed pretty well over the past year and a half. It is around 36, 37 million market cap. The main issue with this, guys, is I just don't really see anyone covering it or talking about it. Will it pump? Probably. Will it go to a 10x? Potentially. I'll put it as a 10x because that's still under $500 million in market cap, but there's better projects to invest into, in my opinion. Next on the list is ZK Race, used to be called D-Race, another horse racing based game. I think Crown is a better project, but I can still see this doing a 10x from here. It has a big sort of player base and big community as well. And here we have Munity, guys, Meta Horse Unity. This is built on Beam, and this is such a small market cap. This is around 500 or 600k in market cap. I think there's around 3.5x dilution until Q3, Q4 2025. This is one of those projects which could 100x. I don't think this could go to zero, but again, guys, you never know. But this is a good project, and if Crown and ZK Race do well, Munity and also Beam, because it's built on Beam, Munity has very good potential. The team's doxed, and it just looks like a very good project. Of course, do your own research. In fact, I'm going to put it in the 50x category. I think it's safer than these projects, but it's still high risk. So, of course, do your own research. Next on the list, we have Ultra, another old project from 2021. Price action has been poor, and honestly, guys, I just don't think it's worth the investment, in my opinion. Moon Tropica, another project which is pushed by a lot of influencers, and price action has been insane over the past year. It's up around 20x, I believe, 20, 30x over the year. It'll probably still do well from here. I'll put it as a 10 to 20x, but guys, it's pumped up massively, so I'd prefer to look at something like Miria, Mavia, G-File, Creo, Naka, and yeah. Shrapnel. Now, again, guys, this is a prime example of just because a game looks good, just because it looks AAA standard and reminds people of Call of Duty, the team just had an awful vesting schedule, guys. I think this is like a 5x dilution till Q3 2025. And to be honest, guys, it's the reason that it's just going to suppress any gains on this project. I can't put this more than a 5 to 10x, to be honest, guys. I'm going to put it as a 10x, but the price action is going to be very poor because people will just be dumping the tokens. Playable Games project, which has, it has better sort of better vesting schedule than Shrapnel. It's also, built on AVAX. And I think this is a good project, guys. I think, has a lot of people covering it. And I can see this doing a 20x from here. It's around 20 million market cap, I believe. So good project. Can see it doing like a 20x from here. Next on the list, we have GameSwift, another project which has just shown awful price action, guys. This is pretty much at the bottom, and I just don't really have too many high hopes for this. They do have a decent community, guys, but a lot of people are starting to move on to different projects. They use AI as well into their project. I think it could still do a 10x, but the price action has been really poor. Next on the list, we have another Solana-based altcoin, Nyan Heroes. Now, this is a project which I think has a big potential. The main issue with this is dilution, which I think, again, I'm not 100% sure. I think it's around 3x till 2025. And that's all you really care about, guys. You're not bothered what is the dilution until 2030 because you're going to be out of the market in 2025. It does have potential, guys. I think this could still 20x from here. It has a huge use case built on Solana, and Solana gaming projects are going to do very well, in my opinion. Next on the list, we have PlayZap, another project I was very bullish on. They had the hack. The team were a bit slow, but then they did manage to get the token migration done and the new token launched. Since then, they've got some decent exchange listings. The volume looks pretty decent, and the team have also announced token burns. It's either going to 100x or it's going to go to zero, guys. But, if there's a time to take a risk on it, it's probably going to be this stage. It's pretty much at its lows, and it could do well from here. Next on the list, we have Elderoon, another degen project, which is very small in market cap, could potentially 100x or go to zero. So again, do your research. But guys, these could all be very good trades when the gaming run comes back. Cap Games, another project which I just don't think is worth it. They did really poor. I think they had some sort of manipulation and stuff. I just don't think it's worth it from here. Neuros, another project, sort of a bit similar to Xverse. They do sort of put AI within the game or have AI agents, even if that's not true. Just them saying it is good enough to pump it. I think it's decent. It looks decent. Very small in market cap, so it's one of those degen projects. But I think this could do really well. It could also 50x. I think it's a bit more, has a bit more stability than these other ones. But again, it's very high risk, and it could go to zero. So just be prepared for that. Next on the list, which could be providing a good opportunity, guys, is Corpo. It has been hammered in price, and it is around, I think, 6 or 7 million in market cap currently. I do like this, and I could see this potentially doing a 20 to 30x from here. Decent project, and probably the time to buy if you want to get exposure to it. Next on the list, we have Souls. This did have a hack earlier, but the team responded pretty well, and they've been developing at a good pace. It's another very high-risk project. So I think it's not as high risk as these ones up here. I think this could potentially 50x, but again, guys, it's very high risk. If you don't want to take too much risk, I would go for, Miria, Mavia, G-File, maybe Playable, Creo, Nakamoto Games. And then you could pick a couple of these degen plays, to get that potential 100x. And, if you want a safe project, guys, something like Beam, IMX, and something like Zai are very good. I think they will perform really well and still give you good gains from here. Beam and IMX are going to be some of the main movers. So yeah, guys, that is my personal opinion on these game projects. If I missed your favorite project, then drop it down below and I'll try and tell you my opinion on it. If you enjoyed this video, guys, please don't forget to drop a like. I really take time to make these videos. And if you enjoyed the content, please don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you very soon for the next video, guys. Thanks for watching and take care.